Last month, I abolished my 14-and-a-half-year routine of watching a movie every Saturday, no matter what. Here's how my Saturdays went after taking 3 weeks off from movies in general, what it was like going back to an AMC for the first time in 3 weeks, and how I've struck a better balance. The first movie-free Saturday was the 4th of July. Originally, I would have shoehorned Young Washington into the schedule for that day. It might have worked, because I wound up skipping the oration at Faneuil Hall after the reading of the Declaration of Independence, and it would have fit snugly between that and the earliest I could have gotten a spot at the Boston Pops concert and fireworks. However, I did not try forcing it in when that opportunity arose. Instead, my friend and I got to the aquarium in time for the daily harbor seal presentation after the reading of the Declaration of Independence. A spontaneous decision to find a way to fill the time between that and lunch at no extra cost to either of us. I've actually stopped by for more since then because they're that fun. After that, we went to lunch in Cambridge, then to the Museum of Science to get out of the sun before walking to get in line for the Pops concert, which was way more exciting than any movie. I got to shout to Anderson Cooper, "I loved you in Batman v Superman!" because he was actually in the movie, and he had a good laugh. Unfortunately, the whole thing got delayed an hour because of rain and having to evacuate into the nearby tunnels due to lightning concerns. Honestly, that made the whole thing more exciting, and I can say I've stood around in a Boston tunnel pedestrians normally aren't supposed to go to. The journey back to the train station my friend parked at before getting on the train to officially start the trip was also more exciting because of the delay. I got to use my transit know-how to navigate us to Back Bay Station and take the Orange Line to Forest Hills for a bus back to where he parked, because I chose that station to options max. Long story short, the rain delay caused us to miss our train back there, and rather than wait for the next one an hour after it, I used that backup route I usually have ready to go anyway. While Young Washington and a continuation of the Saturday movie system would have fit comfortably in hindsight, I'm honestly glad I didn't try forcing it in there, because it turned into a day where I showed my friend how I get around Boston on the commuter rail, all four subway lines, and even a bus. I guess you could say it brought some spontaneity back into my life, which I definitely had to be able to accept the next Saturday when I took an Amtrak from North Station to Old Orchard Beach, where my aunt and uncle were staying. What was supposed to be a 2+ hour train ride turned into 6+ hours on it when a tree branch shattered the windshield and the train couldn't continue north. I could have gotten out at Haverhill, where they backtracked using the engine with an intact windshield to let out anyone who wanted to find alternative arrangements, and taken the commuter rail back to North Station, which I considered. However, I decided I wanted to see my aunt and uncle, and even saw the ultimately 4 hour delay as a win because I didn't have to drum up ways to fill 7 3/4 hours there, or bump up to an earlier train back to Boston if I found myself unable to fill the rest of the time there beyond seeing my aunt and uncle for a bit. I just bought lunch on the dining car, which wasn't as overpriced as I thought it'd be, and committed to an abridged version of my trip. I also enjoyed seeing the sights I otherwise wouldn't have seen when the train went through other tracks it didn't take on the original route, and a maintenance facility it used to turn around and get us back on track. Thankfully, the train back to Boston was on time, and I got home on time. I could have filled the delay time with a movie on my phone, which I sort of wish I'd had ready to go with a downloaded one from my Apple account. My original plan was to listen to an audiobook, which I'm still listening to sporadically because I found myself struggling to concentrate and switching to my synced music library to vibe out to music I enjoyed back in high school. Last Saturday, I went back out to an AMC, this time Causeway, to see The Odyssey. It was the first time in 3 weeks that I went to a movie or even watched one. I had several nights when we were running the AC to get good light conditions, but I just wasn't feeling it. That day, I timed my liquid consumption way better than last time, resulting in not having to get up to go to the restroom and minimized my watch checking and my mind wandering to what I would do next, because I'd settled on taking the subway to lunch at University House of Pizza, then heading to the MFA to go to the ancient Greece section. I also found it more crowded than I expected for a 10 a.m. showtime on a Saturday, but given how big a release The Odyssey is, I shouldn't have been surprised. I also found myself feeling freer to get going sooner because I'm not standing around writing a review that'll get 5 or so likes. I also considered bumping up to a Friday night show using the free commuter rail service on Fridays this month, so I could stay home or go to Revere Beach for the sand sculptures, which I wound up checking out on Sunday because of the rain on Saturday. I no longer feel the need to limit my movie going to Saturday or forcing that day to be the one for the newest release of interest, with Sunday through Friday being for re releases and revisiting something previously seen on Saturday or aborted for one reason or another. I'd say I've struck a better balance with a movie being an option for Saturday. I can also go on Friday after work, especially with the free commuter rail service through the end of August, a Wednesday afternoon if I see fit, or anything that ends within a reasonable amount of time before I need to leave to get to a train home. Now, I can spend my Saturdays engaging in once in a lifetime events like America's 250th birthday in Boston, or taking a day trip somewhere outside MBTA service range, or somewhere in the MBTA service range that isn't either of the museums or the aquarium I'm a member at. The best part of it is, if there's nothing I want to see, my mom's still out in Florida and I'm just not feeling it. I can stay home on weekends if I want to, especially if there's nothing else going on in Boston that'd be both good content and something I'd be interested in. It also helps there's no cleaning frenzy to hide from. I can play video games, I can watch a movie if I really want to, or I can watch an episode or two or several of my primary TV show, which I'm seriously considering not putting into my calendar anymore and just spinning up the next episode when I'm home for the night and I'm mentally up for it. Overall, these past 3 Saturdays have been great for finding balance between special events, venturing outside the MBTA service range, and enjoying movies when I actually feel it. As long as I get in 3 A-list movies per month, I get my money's worth, especially with the price increase. If I limit myself to Saturday and or Sunday, it's because it's easiest for me to get out there on those days with the commuter rail weekend pass, compared to weekdays when I have work or therapy, and the fare would cost more. That said, I feel freer to enjoy a movie if I want, but not feel pressured to force one into my schedule, especially when watching at home isn't as good this time of year. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts on all of this, and subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.